Hi friends, please close your eyes. नहीं? क्यों नहीं? Please close your eyes, friends. So, a very, very quick recap, and happy Raksha Bandhan before that. So, we had discussed Marxist theory of religion. Tell me, what does the Marxist theory of religion say about things like Raksha Bandhan? बताइए बिटिया, what is the Marxist theory? अच्छा, functionalist भी कल ही पढ़ी थी. Quickly, the functionalist view of religion. Wrap up करके overall. Sorry. Online students, please confirm you can hear me and see me all right by typing yes. Please do that. जी बिटिया. Thank you, online students. Yeah.
So in the case of life crisis situations, we tend to turn towards religious practices.
क्यों? क्या function है?
It gives us sense so that it demolishes the fear of anxiety and fear amongst us.
ठीक है. It helps to reduce fear and anxiety, है ना, or to deal with fear and anxiety. और बताइए, what is the Marxist theory? Absent. तो क्या एग्जाम में नहीं आएगी? फिर ब्रदर, अगर एब्सेंट भी हैं ऑनलाइन पढ़िए, कैचअप कीजिए, है ना, प्लीज. या रिलीजन इज द ओपिएट ऑफ द पीपल. व्हाट डज ही मीन बाय दैट? हिंदी में बोलो. ठीक है. इट इंक्रीजेस पीपल्स टॉलरेंस टू इनजस्टिस, इनइक्वालिटी, पॉवर्टी, deprivation. Okay. Use a bit more of Marxist bhasha to elaborate the Marxist position on religion. Religion is a part of the superstructure, bete. Yes or no? हाँ, please continue. It legitimizes the inequalities in the base. And serves the class interests of the haves. Rather than saying serves the purpose of the rich. Same baat, Marxist bhasha mein, it serves the class interests of the haves, or in a capitalist society, the bourgeoisie. ठीक है. चलिए, then we discussed Weber's views on religion. In very brief, encapsulate Weber's views on religion. Correct. Weber established a linkage between the emergence of Protestant Christianity and the rise of industrial capitalism. And what is that linkage? क्या बोलते हैं इसको? दैट नथिंग कैन बी चेंज. यू राइट. व्हाट इज दिस डॉक्ट्रिन नोन एज? द डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ predestination. You were prompted. The doctrine of predestination. And this doctrine of predestination did what?
Basically meant that people would not be able to change what is going to happen to them in their next life.
All right.
They must focus on this worldly things and become wealthy.
Why?
Because being wealthy is a sign of
Yes, being wealthy is a sign that you are one of the elect. Very good. And we say basically this concept of predestination resulted in salvation anxiety amongst the Protestants, to resolve which they sought signs from God that they are one of the elect. And one of these important signs was material prosperity. Good. ठीक है. And various other such things. In essence, basically, what Weber suggests that the Protestant religious beliefs spurred a new work ethic, which resulted in the development of capitalism, based on hard work, honesty, industrious, frugality, etc. Okay? So to work hard, dedicatedly became a religious duty for the typical Protestant. And this is what resulted in the emergence of capitalism. ठीक है. ठीक है. अब चलते हैं आगे. वी नाउ डिस्कस सम क्रिटिसिजम्स ऑफ वेबर्स थियोरी ऑफ रिलीजन. क्रिटिसिजम्स ऑफ वेबर्स थियोरी ऑफ रिलीजन. वेयर डू यू फाइंड वेबर रॉन्ग? अरे, ही इज रॉन्ग. हाँ, क्रिटिसाइज कीजिए. डिसअग्री ब्रदर. Okay, his criticism is Weber is overemphasizing on the importance of religion. Respectfully, that's not a legitimate criticism. Reason being, Weber does acknowledge that there are various causative factors, religion being one of them. But then it is the limitations of human faculties that one researcher can focus on only a particular dimension. So he does not negate the existence of other causative factors. Okay? Brother. So how do you explain the emergence of industrial capitalism, you are saying, in those societies which are not Protestant? Okay? ठीक है. But what should I say? Interpretation from a Weberian framework is that many other societies, including which were not Protestant Christians, they adopted the Protestant worldview, even if not the religion. ठीक है? Because it was working. It was, kind of a proven model. Okay, so let us discuss various criticisms. So, one criticism is that Weber was bluntly wrong in his analysis of various religions. His understanding of Hinduism, for instance, is incomplete at best and incorrect at worst. For example, Weber क्या कहता है? Hinduism एक otherworldly religion है which therefore does not support capitalist development. क्यों? Why is Hinduism otherworldly according to Weber? Because it focuses on moksha. As a Hindu, you tell me, most of you are Hindu. Is moksha the only concern for a Hindu? No. In Hinduism, 4 पुरुषार्थ होते हैं. नेमली धर्म, अर्थ, काम और मोक्ष. There are 4 purusharth or worthy life goals for a Hindu. 4 things that a Hindu should focus upon. Dharma, arth, kam or moksha. Dharma meaning what? Dharma broadly in this context meaning the performance of one's socio-religious duties or obligations. ठीक है कि so for example, as a husband, I should follow or I should perform my pati dharma. As a son, I should perform my putra dharma. Then I should perform my jati dharma. And so on and so forth. So I must perform my various duties associated with different social roles. Are you with me? अर्थ का मतलब क्या होता है? Engaging in productive activity. Or, being productive. Are you with me? काम का अर्थ क्या होता है? काम का मीनिंग क्या होता है? Desire या pleasure. Not just sexual, though Kama Sutra के context में it has been associated with sexual pleasure, but it generally means desire या pleasure को satisfy करना. And moksha. These are the 4 life goals for a Hindu. Out of these 4 life goals, 3, dharma, arth and kam, are this worldly or otherworldly? This worldly. Are you with me? सो वेबर ने हिंदुइज्म को ठीक से नहीं समझा. उनकी बहुत ही सुपरफिशियल अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी ऑफ हिंदुइज्म. हिंदुइज्म रियली इज नॉट एन अदरवर्ल्डली रिलीजन. Likewise, Weber considered that the caste system is, unsuitable for the development of capitalism. Caste system in Hindu society is somewhat, unsuited for the development of capitalism. But in the Hindu caste system, there are several communities dedicated to the pursuit of trade and commerce, making money, wealth accumulation. जैसे कि बनिए, जैसे कि मारवाड़ी, जैसे कि चेटियार, महाजन, बनिए का धर्म क्या है? टू मेक मनी. So Weber had at best an incomplete understanding of Hinduism. Likewise, other religions, critics allege that he could not fully or properly understand. इसी तरह critics कहते हैं, who were the first capitalists and who are the dominant capitalists even today globally? The Jews. सैकड़ों साल before the emergence of the Protestant belief system, Jews have been a mercantile community seeking profit, dedicated to trade and commerce. Yes or no? The followers of Judaism. ना तुमने डिस्टेंट हिंदुइज्म को ठीक समझा, ना अपने पड़ोसी जुडाइज्म को ठीक समझा. सोमबाट स्कॉलर का नाम है. ही सेज कि तुमने तो कैल्विनिज्म को या प्रोटेस्टेंटिज्म को भी सही नहीं समझा. तुमने मतलब वेबर ने. वेबर misunderstood Calvinism. Calvinism is a subset of Protestantism. Followers of John Calvin are known as Calvinists. according to Sombart, Calvinism was against greed and making money for its own sake. And making money for its own sake. वेबर मानते हैं कि कैल्विनिज्म से ऐसा आउटलुक इनकरेज हुआ है. सोमबार्ट का इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ कैल्विनिज्म इज कंप्लीटली ऑपोजिट. ही सेज कैल्विनिज्म वाज अगेंस्ट द मेकिंग ऑफ मनी फॉर इट्स ओन सेक. ठीक. कॉट्स्की The fellow is a Marxist. क्या बोलेंगे? What's wrong with Weber's theory of religion? See, according to Weber, Protestantism emerged and then it led to changes in the economy or the development of capitalist economy, according to Weber. Kautsky argues that capitalism emerged first and then Protestantism emerged as a supporting ideology. Marxist के हिसाब से economy is the base. Changes in the economy are then reflected in the superstructure. Are you with me? So according to Kautsky, capitalism emerged first. Later on, Protestantism emerged to support the capitalist system. The problem, in such historical analysis is we can't pinpoint a specific date when capitalism emerged. Are you with me? क्योंकि it's a long drawn process, right? So Weber के हिसाब से 16th century Protestant Reformation के बाद में capitalism emerge हुआ. Kautsky traces the emergence of capitalism to prior or before the Protestant Reformation. ठीक? I repeat, according to Kautsky, capitalism emerged first and later on Protestantism emerged as a supporting ideology. While according to Weber, ulta, Protestantism emerged first and then led to the development of capitalism. According to Schumpeter, capitalism did not emerge in the Protestant dominated countries. तो वेबर की सारी प्रेमाइस ही गलत है. उसका पहला स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट क्या था कि जो प्रोटेस्टेंट मेजॉरिटी कंट्रीज थी वहां पे कैपिटलिस्ट डेवलपमेंट हुई. जो अर्ली कैपिटलिस्ट थे वो प्रोटेस्टेंट्स थे. फिर उसने सारी थ्योरी बनाई. बट Schumpeter suggests that capitalism did not emerge in the Protestant dominated societies. Instead, capitalism developed in Italy. Capitalism developed in Italy in the 14th century. Thank you, beta. Which was a Catholic country. मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस तो आपने पढ़ा होगा या सुना होगा. Venice was a major trading point. And that is where we can trace the emergence of capitalism. And Italy was primarily a Catholic country. Right? Another criticism, friends, कि Weber क्या कहता है? Protestantism encourages saving, capital accumulation, frugal lifestyle, which led to capitalist development. But you tell me, can a frugal lifestyle provide a sound foundation to a capitalist economy. On the contrary, modern day critics point out, modern capitalism is based upon consumption. It is a consumption-driven economy. वेबर के हिसाब से लोग जोड़ते थे तो पैसा जुटता गया, वो फैक्ट्री लगा पाए. पर अगर सब लोग जोड़ेंगे ही, कोई खर्चा नहीं करेगा, तो कैपिटलिस्ट इकोनॉमी कैसे चलेगी? अगर मेरे पास 2 जोड़ी शर्ट हैं और मैं 2 जोड़ी में ही संतुष्ट हो जाऊंगा, तो फैक्ट्री काम जो करेगी वो कौन खरीदेगा? Yes or no? You look at the US. It is the engine of the global capitalist economy, and it's a consumerist economy. Consumerist society is a consumption-driven economy. सबसे ज्यादा तेल दुनिया का वो पीते हैं. Yes or no? जो पैसा नहीं होता उसका भी वो खर्चा कर देते हैं in the form of the credit cards or whatever. So you require high levels of consumption to sustain a capitalist economy. So if Protestantism was all about saving and accumulation, it could not have helped develop a capitalist economic system. ठीक? I said capitalism requires high levels of consumption. Capitalism requires high levels of consumption. And endorsed by Weber. Weber basically endorsed what Benjamin Franklin wrote in the context of asserting what is the capitalist work ethic. Criticizing Weber for it. Because Weber said so, that Protestantism ka one of the tenets is to have a disciplined lifestyle. That you don't spend much, you don't have a luxurious lifestyle. That you should have an ascetic kind of a life. That is the ideal Protestant. Because of which capital accumulation takes place. Because people don't spend, they don't also donate to charity. Both being prohibited by Protestantism. ठीक? Critics point out that capitalism requires high levels of consumption. According to Weber, Protestantism encourages an ascetic, austere या frugal lifestyle. So critics say it's a low level, low consumption lifestyle cannot sustain a capitalist economy. I repeat, capitalism, according to critics, capitalism requires high levels of consumption. Weber suggested Protestantism encourages a frugal lifestyle. So critics say that, if you don't spend and spend much, a capitalist economy cannot develop. ठीक? चलिए, we are done with the scholars. Moving on now to the main agenda for the day, which is religion in modern society. Religion in modern society. ठीक है? Before we discuss various scholarly views, theories, etc., what is your sense, friends? What has happened to religion in the modern world? Modern world matlab the society that emerged after the French and Industrial Revolutions. Very broadly, what is your sense? Has the social significance of religion declined with modernization? In other words, will you be in agreement if I suggest that every subsequent generation is somewhat less religious than the previous generation? Or broadly, compare yourself, forget society, with your grandparents or great-grandparents, whoever you have known personally, okay, or heard intimately about. Would you agree broadly that you are less religious than your grandparents or great-grandparents? Yes or no? Yes. So there is this very widely held perception that with modernization, the importance of religion has declined in society. That the modern man is less religious than the pre-modern man. Okay? And this process of the decline of religion in modern society or with modernization is known as secularization. I'll make you write a standard, easy to remember definition also, scholarly. Okay? But this is the process of secularization. That earlier people were far more religious than we are today. ठीक? Why do you say that, friends? Tell me, forget everything else, tell me from personal experience. Compare yourself with your grandparents or great-grandparents. And tell me, why do you say that you are less religious than they were? In what way? How are you different from them? Your dada dadi, nana nani, or pardada dadi? He's saying his grandparents followed all the rules and regulations of the religion which you don't. Such as? So they used to do puja every day while you don't. हाँ? ठीक है. और बताइए, बिटिया? Bitia, can we please stop the crosstalk? Yeah. बट लोग जाती हैं. मॉडर्न कल्चर में सो पहले इनकी दादी, चाची, मम्मी घूंघट करके पूजा करते थे, बट मॉडर्न लड़कियां छोटे कपड़े पहन के मंदिर में जाती हैं, विच इज नॉट अलाउड, ब्रदर. सो दे आर नॉट फॉलोइंग द नॉर्म्स गवर्निंग ड्रेस फॉर रिलीजियस प्लेसेस. हाँ, सॉरी, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड रैशनल थिंकिंग. हाँ, so you are saying you are more scientific in your mindset, in your orientation, more rational than your dada dadi ji. Very good. Huh? Older generations. Okay, so the older generations used to believe in, subscribe to the mythological stories in a very literal sense. They used to believe it actually happened. So Ramji touched Ahilya and she turned from stone to human. Or that Hanumanji flew across the seas. Or carried a mountain and so on and so forth. What about you? What is your take on it? These. So you try to see it more of a moral which message being given. Rather than accepting it literally. Bitya? You're talking about your family? No, really. Let us talk from personal experience. That people were relatively less educated, our previous generations. So for example, one could safely presume that many girls are sitting here who are graduates. Your grandmothers possibly were not. My grandmother was also not a graduate. My mother is a graduate. My wife is a postgraduate or whatever. So yes, levels of education have improved or They were more collectivity oriented. We are more individualistic. Huh. And you say religion is sustained in a community. Community, Bitya. What is your argument that has religion declined in society? Why? Hmm. We've become more questioning in our attitude towards religious beliefs, rituals, practices. We question. While earlier generations accepted meekly or without a murmur. Bitya. How many of you, have questioned rituals being performed? ये क्यों हम हवन करते हैं? क्या बकवास है ये? टीका लगा के घूमते हैं हाथ में ये, क्या रोली चावल? What is all this Sanskritic mantras, meaningless? Yes, lot of us. Bitya. लोग शराब पीकर दिवाली मनाते हैं, rather than connecting it with the religion. Bitya, you speaking from personal experience? It is. It's presumed. I won't even ask you this. It's all coming from personal experience. Bitya. Yes. Guys, please stop the crosstalk. Guys, please. She was respectful towards your point of view. We should extend the same courtesy. Ulta. Yes.
I told my parents that my brothers would tie Rakhi to me, and I made them do this on one point. But they were actually resisting a lot, so they said that you won't protect us, we'll do it and all. So I actually had to convince them. So I told them that you're scared of cockroaches, but I'm not, so I can protect you. Basically, I had to do so much to convince them just to do this, because they thought it was unmanly and all. So like, I made 3 of my cousins and 1 brother tie it to me. And
all right, so what is your interpretation? She is suggesting she made some of her brothers tie Rakhi to her. Okay, telling them that I'll offer you protection from cockroaches, of which you guys are scared, I am not. And how does that signify secularization or decline of religion?
Like not cockroaches in general. Secondly, earlier people did not even think of this.
So earlier people would not have thought of, that boys will tie Rakhis to their sisters. But now this Ulti Ganga, it has started flowing, if I may. Brother. Yeah. Done की बात करो, observed की नहीं, done. हाँ. झांकियां होती थी बचपन में, जन्माष्टमी में मंदिरों में वो सीलियां रखी जाती थी बर्फ की, जिसपे बच्चों को बिठाया जाता था ड्रेस्ड एज गॉड्स एंड गॉडेसेस. अब वो खत्म हो गया है. दिवाली पे भी पटाखे बैन हो गए हैं, बंद हो गए हैं, है ना. ब्रदर.
Then the people would consider it as a normal thing, where they would not consider something big. Religious performance was normal. Right now, if suppose a younger person is doing any religious duty,
It will raise eyebrows if a young person is doing some religious activities or rituals, etc. People will think, ye kya weird. It is abnormal. Earlier it was not. It was like a part of one's religious life. But now it would be seen as something weird or odd, out of place. Brother. Yes, and he's performed some concerts in Durga Puja. So yes, he has the right experience to talk about secularization. Huh. For disease and difficulty, grandparents used to go visit priests. Huh. And now you go to where? To doctors, huh? Physicians, brother. People have started questioning God-men. Huh? In fact, Baba has become synonymous with Dhongi. Huh? Dhongi Baba. Baba to Dhongi hi hota hai na? Unless proved otherwise. So most God-men are assumed to be Dhongi or fake, brother. While earlier that was not the case, presumably. Huh? Earlier people had great veneration, respect for religious men, huh? Or men of religion. People are busier nowadays than earlier. पहले लोग विल्ले होते थे तो वो धर्म में पूजा पाठ में लगे रहते थे. अब मॉडर्न जनरेशन हम लोग बहुत बिजी हैं तो हम पूजा पाठ कहाँ ही कर पाएंगे. ब्रदर. हाँ हाँ ओके ठीक है. So his father was trying to get a temple built on land assigned for temple construction, but there was some sort of a legal case over there. Bitya? So earlier rituals were done due to kind of a faith in the divinity. Now it is more like transactional. हाँ? हम सब कहते हैं ना भगवान ये करवा दो 101 का प्रसाद चढ़ा दूंगा. हैं? भगवान आपके 101 पे निर्भर है. हाँ ब्रदर. हाँ but you were Christian. No, so then talk about yourself. You can't comment on Muslims. Sorry. Huh? Tell us about anything from personal experience. Yes. He's saying Hindus have superficial knowledge of their faith. Huh? They don't know the essence of their faith. It is? ठीक है. But people aren't aware. Huh? The average person is not aware of his religious teachings. अच्छा पहले श्रद्धा होती थी अब दिखावा है जाएंगे केदारनाथ विला बनाने के लिए. विला क्यों बोला फिर? व्लॉग. अच्छा व्लॉग. अच्छा वही मैं सोचूं विला बनाना तो आसान भी नहीं होगा और केदारनाथ पर्टिकुलरली डिफिकल्ट टेरिटरी. व्लॉग बनाने के लिए लोग केदारनाथ जा रहे हैं. हाँ मंदिर के सामने प्रपोज कर रहे हैं, व्लॉग्स बना रहे हैं, लाइक्स एंड एंगेजमेंट के लिए. ब्रदर. So the lower castes have been alienated from Hinduism because of the, exploitation, the oppressions, the critique, or whatever they have been subjected to in Hinduism. They worship human figures like Dr. Ambedkar. Bitya. Oh, interesting. So religion has spawned a lot of communal violence because of which people have, kind of started seeing it as basically a bad whatever, right? Source of identity or, as something which generates conflict. Brother? Absolutely. वहाँ पे तो कम दाम है वैसे, but lot of VIP दर्शन्स का culture has been spawned in a lot of places of worship. Wherever you go, any major place of worship, you will have this separate category of VIP darshans, indicating an immense commercialization of religious beliefs. वही पॉइंट था बेटा.
Contrary to this view, right now that religion is declining, but if we really see and calculate, then in modern world there is also a trend towards religion.
That we'll come to later. ठीक है? That criticism that you're discussing we'll come to later. Brother? Now we have डीजे. अच्छा, अब रिलीजियस फेस्टिवल्स में डीजे बजता है, पहले मंजीरा बजता था, है ना? बिल्कुल. हाँ, सो ब्रदर, people are manipulating religion for political purposes, for instance. Huh? So this is not real religion, or this is not true religion, essence of religion. Huh? इंटरफेथ रिचुअल्स जैसे कि हिंदू दरगाह जाता है, मुसलमान राखी बंधवाता है ना? क्रिश्चियन पगड़ी भी बांध लेता होगा. बट यू हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ सेक्युलर काइंड ऑफ इंटरफेथ festivals and celebrations. Brother, earlier people used to perform rituals for self satisfaction, now they do it for society, दिखावे के लिए. हाँ, ठीक है. So thank you friends. Yes, we have ample evidence from our daily lives, kind of our felt experiences, that yes, religion has significantly declined in the modern society. Right? And this process of decline of religion, of the decline of the importance of religion, decline of the popularity of religion, decline of belief in religious teachings, etc., is known as secularization. अब इसकी एक बड़ी सिंपल सी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव सी डेफिनेशन लिख लो. According to Brian Wilson, secularization, use short form, S and a circle, because we'll be using this long word repeatedly. Secularization is a social process whereby religious beliefs, religious thinking, religious institutions, and religious practices lose their social significance. Full stop. I repeat, secularization is a social process whereby religious beliefs, religious thinking, religious institutions, and religious practices lose their social significance. Full stop. It is widely believed that in pre-modern society, religion played a central role in social life. I repeat, it is widely believed that in pre-modern society, religion played a central role in social life. Full stop. However, the rise of modern industrial society has been accompanied by I repeat, however, the rise of modern industrial society has been accompanied by secularization. ठीक? Full stop. Now, what are the factors? Let us try to appreciate what are the factors that have led to secularization. What is the evidence that has led to, or that helps us to come to this conclusion that religion has declined? Okay, let us now try to appreciate the causative factors and also the evidence for secularization. Now, one of the biggest reasons for the decline of religion in modern society has been the growth of science. And who has won this battle, friends, that you see on screen? Huh? Huh? Clock? Draw. See, it is widely believed that as scientific knowledge has expanded, the need to rely upon religion has declined. As scientific knowledge, as the scientific understanding of the natural and the social world has increased, the need to rely upon religion has reduced. Simply, friends, earlier, when scientific knowledge was not as rich as we have it today, people greatly relied upon scriptures. As we have better explanations, science, mind you, offers better explanations of various natural and social phenomena. Truer explanations. Simply, earlier, if we did not have an understanding of, say, the process of rainfall, we did not have a scientific understanding of rainfall. Then how did we understand rainfall? We attributed it to the mood swings of Indradev. But as science made strides, as scientific knowledge expanded, we have a better understanding of the process of rainfall, that it takes place due to evaporation and condensation, cloud formation and precipitation. Right? Likewise, death, disease, change of seasons, various things. We now have scientific understanding and explanations for various phenomena. Yes or no? And as our scientific knowledge, understanding of things expands, the need to seek reasoning or explanations in religion correspondingly reduces. Not only science gives us better explanations, it also gives us better solutions to the problems that confront humanity. So as scientific temperament has become more widespread, scientific knowledge has expanded, the domain of religion has shrunk. Yes? Like one of you suggested that earlier people for disease etc. would go to the priest. Now they would go to the doctor. पहले, if a child would get, बोलते थे माता आ गई. Yes or no? There would be these, what do you call? हाँ, मतलब क्या बोलते हैं उसको? हाँ, चेचक या मतलब whatever. You get some things on your skin, right? Typically in childhood, माता बोलते थे. पर अब क्या हम माता बोलते हैं? नहीं. अब हम बोलते हैं चिकन पॉक्स हो गया, स्मॉल पॉक्स हो गया. And now science will offer you, say, better solutions in terms of medicines, vaccination than puja path. A surer cure. Yes or no? So as scientific knowledge expands, as science answers more and more questions confronting humanity, as science offers better solutions for our varied problems, the domain of religion, the reliance upon religion, the need for religion diminishes. So one of the biggest factors leading to the decline of religion has been the expansion of scientific knowledge and the spread of scientific temperament. ठीक? I'm restating in case anybody has missed, as scientific knowledge has expanded and as scientific temperament has spread, the reliance on religion to offer explanations or solutions has reduced. ठीक? One of the founding fathers of sociology, in fact, the Papa, namely Comte, he also, gave this evolutionary scheme, or he also suggested that societies pass through different stages, 3 stages, namely theological stage, followed by metaphysical stage, followed by positive या scientific stage. According to Comte, societies pass through 3 stages. 3 stages: theological stage to metaphysical stage to positive stage. I would have drawn a straight arrow had this 2 not been written. Simply the theological stage followed by metaphysical followed by positive या scientific stage. And what this means? In theological stage, the nature of human knowledge is primarily theological or religious. In other words, religion offers explanations, answers to various queries that man has. ठीक? In theological stage, religion offers answers or is the source of knowledge. In metaphysical stage, knowledge is in philosophical and abstract terms. In philosophical and abstract terms. In metaphysical stage, knowledge is abstract or philosophical in nature. And in the positive stage, knowledge is scientific in character. वही बात जो हमने कही है, अब हमने उसके साथ एक स्कॉलरली नेम एसोसिएट कर दिया है, that with modernization or as a society evolves, religious explanations and knowledge are replaced eventually by scientific knowledge and explanations. ठीक? Another explanation of this phenomena of secularization comes from the writings of Weber. Weber क्या कहते हैं? That modernization entails a process of, yes, rationalization. Modernization entails a process of rationalization. Meaning what? Man becomes more rational in his thinking, reason based. Instead of relying upon tradition or emotion, he relies upon reason. Yes or no? Rational action becomes the dominant form. We've discussed it already. I'm just recapping it. Right? So this rationalization or relying upon reason also contributes to a decline of religion. No more. See, when you rely upon religion, which type of social action will you perform? In Weber's scheme, traditional social action. Mostly traditional. Okay? But modern society, modern life is governed by rational action. Rational thinking. So we are driven by reason, not by tradition. Tradition loses its hold. Yes or no? Weber, may I? Weber also spoke of, if you recollect, the process of disenchantment. Do you recollect? Disenchantment meaning what? Yes, that magic and mystery and a sense of awe, all of that is removed. No more man believes in supernatural, superstitions, etc. Rather, everything he seeks calculability, reason. These are the driving forces. So modern life, magic and mystery and supernatural, they don't have any role to play. Are you with me? And religion is associated with supernatural and magic and all of these. Mystery. So disenchantment also contributes to secularization. ठीक? So most of the founding fathers subscribe to this notion of secularization, that with modernization, the role or importance of religion reduces. Right? श्री कार्ल मार्क्स क्या कहते हैं? That religion is an important part of the superstructure in a class society. But what will happen in a communist society? It will be a religion-less society. There will be no religion. There are no inequalities to justify in the egalitarian final stage of communism. So it will be a religion-less society. We've discussed it earlier. According to Marx, religion is there in a class society or a stratified society. But in communist society, as society advances, eventually communism will come when there will be no religion. Because religion serves to justify inequalities. There are no inequalities in communist society. ठीक? Now these are all perspectives we are somewhat already familiar with. Now I'll be discussing topic specific views. Those of Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce. Is it visible, guys? Yes or no? Steve Bruce. According to him, स्ट्रक्चरल डिफरेंशिएशन, पहले लिख लो वरना सुनोगे नहीं, मुझे पता है. स्ट्रक्चरल डिफरेंशिएशन, individualism and societalization contribute to secularization. Structural differentiation, rising individualism and societalization. What all this means, I'll explain. Contribute to secularization. See, this is almost sacrilege writing on, the face of a religious figure. But we do it nowadays. Huh? All of these contribute to secularization. Let us try to appreciate what this Farsi means. Structural differentiation, do we understand? What? We've discussed it earlier somewhere. Sorry, it's not same as complex division of labor. You were too quick and too wrong. Okay, yes. Earlier, various social structures were overlapping. Now you have different social arrangements specializing in the performance of different functions. If you remember, we had discussed in the context of earlier, father also being this or that. Now father is only the father, right? The teacher role is separate and so on and so forth. So earlier, family was overlapping with education system and economy and so on. Now family is more specialized, performing fewer functions. Right? Economic functions taken over by this or that. You remember? So, as structural differentiation takes place, friends, matlab, different social institutions start performing specialized roles. What happens? The overlap between religion and other areas of social life also reduces. The overlap between religion and other spheres of social life also reduces. Religion becomes only concerned with religious affairs. For example, earlier, in pre-modern times, the priestly class also used to serve an important function as advisors to the rulers. Yes or no? Or as lawgivers. But nowadays, are the lawgivers and the priestly class same? No. Are the advisors to the rulers and the priestly class same? No. Kyun? Specialized structures have emerged to advise the ruling class or to frame law. Are you with me? So ये क्या हुआ है? Structural differentiation हुआ है. So role of religion in that sphere has reduced. We'll be talking more on this aspect in a while. But you get the broader picture? That with structural differentiation, the overlap between religion and other social spheres reduces. So, for example, if earlier religion had a political role, today it doesn't. ठीक? Today matlab in the modern nation state. Also, see, societalization means what? मैं लिखवा दूंगा simply, पहले समझ लो. Societalization means that, earlier people used to mostly live in the small sized close-knit communities. Earlier, people used to live in small-sized, close-knit communities. Today, they live in large-sized, complex, modern nation-states. In the olden communities, small-sized communities, or you tell me, where do you expect religion to play, or the church, yani organized religion, to play a more important role? In small-sized communities or large-scale societies? In small-scale communities, organized religion, जिसको church बोलते हैं, that used to play a very central role in social affairs. But in modern societies, friends, what has happened? It is basically rational and impersonal bureaucracies which are basically ruling over, governing the society, regulating social life. So the religion plays a much less important role in modern societies. Are you with me? Earlier, in close-knit communities, all the members of the community would have a single religion. Are you with me? I'll give you a crude example. In olden times, for instance, after a child was born, there used to be a namkaran ceremony. Yani, the naming of the child. Okay? Which would entail a priest performing rituals and suggesting the akshar, and then a name being chosen by the family members on the suggestions of the priest, etc. A shubh naam being chosen for the child, along with the performance of, or accompanied by rituals. ठीक है? मंदिर में जाते थे, लोकल मंदिर में, वहां पे कम्युनिटी के मेंबर्स सारे, local priests, they would undertake the namkaran ceremony or the child's naming ceremony. But now, when my last daughter was born, we were advised that she was born in a hospital, as children are born in hospitals nowadays. So she was born in a hospital. The hospital authorities told us, you must select the name of the child before discharge. Why? Because then, from the hospital directly, it will be captured by the municipal records, who will issue a birth certificate in the child's name, with his name printed on it. So the priest has gone out of the window, out of the picture, right? And replaced by these bureaucratic, impersonal procedures. So we simply chose our daughter's name. Theek? Are you with me? So in close-knit communities, the church, organized religion, the priestly class play an important role in various day-to-day affairs. While in modern large-scale societies, it is impersonal bureaucracies who govern various aspects of social life. Clear? इसको बोलते हैं societalization. Societalization, why? In the sense community being replaced by society. Community in the sense of a small size, close-knit grouping. Society implying a large-scale, impersonal, kind of a huge unit. Okay? Clear? Likho. According to Steve Bruce, societalization also contributes to the decline in the importance of religion in society. Full stop. Societalization means that the earlier small-sized, close-knit communities I repeat, societalization means that the earlier small-sized, close-knit communities have been replaced by very large scale and complex modern societies. Full stop. While religion played an important role in the day-to-day life I repeat, while religion played an important role in the day-to-day life of the members of the community earlier, modern societies are regulated by large-sized, impersonal, and rational bureaucratic organizations. ठीक है? Clear? Individualism से कैसे? Simply, in pre-modern society, collectivism was the dominant mode of thought or mode of living. People were collectivity oriented. Nowadays we are individualistic. Where will religion play a more important role? Zahir hai, in a pre-modern society which has a collective orientation. Yes or no? Religion played an important role when society was driven by community spirit or was characterized by collectivism. But modernization has resulted in heightened individualism. So simply, I don't care what others think, for the most part, in modern times. Simply, अगर आप पूजा पाठ ना करो, कुछ लोग गलत मानते हैं, माने, भाड़ में जाए. That is the modern attitude. Yes or no? ठीक? Another important evidence of one of the strongest evidences for the decline of religion, to prove the decline of religion in society is, क्या है ये? हाँ? कैसा चर्च है ये? खाली चर्च है. तुम्हें बड़ा पता है प्रोटेस्टेंट चर्च है या कैथोलिक चर्च है? भगवान से कि खाली चर्च है, फॉर ऑल वी नो. यस और नो? इतने बड़े मैग्निफिसेंट चर्च में एक जो बस अभी भगवान के इस पार है, कुछ ही टाइम में कभी भी उस पार हो सकता है. पॉइंट इज इट्स एन एम्प्टी चर्च. अच्छा, मैं हटूं? ठीक है. सो यू वर थिंकिंग मैं अपने बारे में बोल रहा हूं. नॉट एट ऑल. व्हाट आई एम शोइंग यू इज एन एम्प्टी चर्च. ओके. Point is, friends, that church attendance has greatly fallen in many a modern society. In large parts of Europe, church attendance has witnessed a drastic decline. लोग जा ही नहीं रहे churches. There are big churches, magnificent churches, very imposing structures, but empty. And now when I see closely, he's also there because he's, has difficulty in moving. Okay. That's such a tragic thing to say. Okay. But point is that churches have witnessed a drastic fall in footfalls. Okay. Or attendance. Meaning what? That people simply are no more interested in religion. People are no more interested in religion. So much so, many churches have been forced to shut down. Others have been forced to convert. They have been put to other uses. Some have been made into museums. Some have been turned into libraries. Are you with me? Such magnificent and imposing structures have been put to other uses because people are not interested in religion. So due to lack of patronage, due to absence of any substantial number of visitors, churches have witnessed a steady decline in attendance and footfalls, resulting in closure and being converted, being put to other uses. Okay? Another explanation of the process of secularization is disengagement or the reduced role of church in other areas of social life. I'm just explaining. What we are saying here, friends, basically a structural differentiation has taken place. Along with it, disengagement has taken place. Meaning what? Church means not the place where Christians worship. Church here meaning organized religion. Okay, broadly organized religion. So, earlier organized religion, church was in a very close and intimate relationship with other social institutions. Today, in modern society, it is not. In modern societies, it is not. It has been disengaged or disconnected from the other important areas of social life, such as the state. Earlier, the political rulers and the priestly class were literally in bed together. Yeah? They were in a very close and intimate relationship. We have possibly discussed it earlier. There was this divine theory that the kings used to rely upon to justify their rule, that they are descendants of Falana divinity, or yes or no. Or even in India, you had the priestly class performing various havans, etc., to legitimize the rule of the kings. Right? But the modern nation state, in the modern nation state, the ruling class does not receive its legitimacy from church. It receives its legitimacy from, yes, the will of the people. Yes or no? Earlier, you had the scriptures. In pre-modern societies, the scriptures are an important basis of the law. But in modern societies, is the law based upon scriptures? No. It is based on modern constitutional frameworks. So you have had the emergence of the secular state, or the notion of secularism, after the French Revolution. Meaning a very, there was a strict separation of the political domain and religion. ठीक है, और church and state, religion and state were separated. Clear? So जो church का या religion का hold था, role था in politics and governance, that has reduced. Clear? Similarly, earlier in pre-modern societies, education. What kind of education was imparted in pre-modern times? Religious instruction was imparted mostly. Yes or no? And who imparted or who controlled education system? Who imparted education? It was the dissemination of knowledge was controlled by the priestly class. Say in India, the Brahmins. Yes or no? But in modern societies, what are you being taught? Are you being imparted religious instruction? Everything except religion can be and will be taught to you. You are taught what kind of knowledge imparted? Scientific knowledge, vocational skills, ये सब दिया जाएगा. Physics, chemistry, bio, sociology, history, all of which are sciences, natural या social. Yes or no? वेद, पुराण, कुरान पढ़ाया जाएगा आपको मॉडर्न सोसाइटी में? नहीं पढ़ाया जाएगा. सॉरी, मिनिमल, फ्रिंज, हाँ, 10 तक पढ़ाया जाता है. So one could possibly argue we are not yet fully a modern society. We are still modernizing. वो सरस्वती शिशु मंदिर जो होते हैं आरएसएस वाले, हाँ, डीएवी में भी, यस, ठीक है. But point is that the nature of education changes with modernization. The control over the education system goes out of the hands of the priestly class or organized religion. Yes or no? Likewise, economy. In pre-modern societies, religion does have an important connection with economic activity or economic behavior. For example, in pre-modern Indian society, people would pursue which occupations? As per their caste specific occupations. In pre-modern societies, people would follow, say in pre-modern India, people would follow caste specific occupations. Yes or no? And caste has sanction from religion of Hinduism, or it emanates from Hinduism. But in modern societies, now how many of you are pursuing your caste-based occupations? Are you pursuing caste-based occupation? कोई यहाँ पे सुनार होगा, क्या आप सुनारी कर रहे हो? कोई कुम्हार का बेटा होगा, क्या आप कुम्हारी कर रहे हो? कोई बढ़ई का बेटा होगा, क्या आप बढ़ई हो? नहीं. You're all striving to be civil servants, which is not your caste-based occupation. Yes or no? So the linkage or the hold of religion over economic activity also, or occupation also, declines. Art and architecture. Earlier, much of art and architecture, whether it is, what do you call, say, music or drama, dance, etc., centered around religious themes. गीत संगीत होते थे, किसके लिए होते थे? भगवान के बारे में होते थे. या डिवाइन थीम्स पे या माइथोलॉजिकल स्टोरीज वगैरह के अराउंड होते थे. यस और नो? और आज के टाइम्स, हाँ, जो एंटरटेनमेंट में आप म्यूजिक सुनते हो पॉपुलर सिनेमा में, व्हाट आर द थीम्स? लव, फॉर इंस्टेंस, लॉट ऑफ म्यूजिक इज ऑन द थीम ऑफ लव, विच हैज गॉट नथिंग टू डू विद रिलीजन. यस और नो? 80-90% गाने ऐसे ही होते हैं, प्यार हुआ, प्यार हो गया, प्यार हो जाएगा, समथिंग और द अदर. Yes or no? Love is an important theme, which has got nothing to do with religion. Right? So, point is that religion was earlier very closely connected with other important areas of social life. While today, there has been a disengagement. Matlab, in modern societies, religion is somewhat disconnected from, or it has lost its influence over those other areas of social life. Right? Another dimension or explanation of the process of secularization. Clear? Let me also share with you some statistics as proof that really secularization has taken place. ठीक? According to Pew Research, you remember Pew? Now they are coming to India also. Increasingly you find their mention in newspaper. They've been conducting, that's a very recent thing. Over the past 2-3 years only they've begun focusing in India. In any case, according to Pew Research, in 2010, globally, there were about 1.1 billion atheists, agnostics, and people who did not identify with any religion. $1.1 billion people globally considered themselves atheists, agnostics, and or did not identify with any religion. Atheism means what? What's the difference between atheism and agnosticism? Very correct. Atheism is basically those who deny the existence of God. They say very emphatically there is no God, according to atheists. Theists matlab believers, those who consider there is a God. Okay? And agnostics are those who say we don't know. Okay? But so they surely don't believe in one, but they don't deny the possibility of the existence of God either. Okay? But they're like, we don't know whether a God exists or not. That's agnosticism. Theek? So 1.1 billion people in 2010. So 2010, India, world's population would be around 7 to 8 billion. 7 billion. 1 billion out of 7, yani 1/7. Yani 15 to 17%. Roughly. Of the world's population, absolutely. Huh? But I'll also share other data with you. It's not just about China. Also about China, but also other places. For instance, according to Gallup polls, Gallup is another research agency, reputed. 21% American citizens identified with no religion in 2021 and 22. You can write it 22, I've checked. Okay, you can say in 2022, 21% American citizens identified with no religion. Up from a meager 1% in 1951. Theek? Likewise, you have these Eurobarometer surveys in Europe, which show this much. You don't need to write it all down. Okay, it's just for reference, just to show you that it's not confined to a particular part. Okay, in Europe, various countries, people who reported no religious beliefs, as much as 40% of the French, Czech Republic 37%, Sweden 34%, Germany 27%, substantial chunks of the population, friends. Point is, secularization, not having religious beliefs, it's not a fringe phenomena. Are you with me? And it is quite, in different societies. Likewise in China, according to Wynne Gallup 2012 survey, 47% of Chinese population are atheists. Point is that very large chunks of population in different societies across the globe do not have religious beliefs, or do not believe in God, or do not subscribe to any religion. I repeat, according to the Wynne Gallup 2012 survey, WIN capital all caps, Wynne-Gallup 2012 survey, 47% of the Chinese population are atheists. Okay? So secularization does seem to be a worldwide phenomena in varying degrees in several societies, in Europe, in North America, in China. You witnessed a large, very large, substantial chunk of the population. Yes or no? Sara mat likhiye. Don't note down. I said you, see, in any case, you cannot quote, you don't need to remember all these figures, and you cannot quote all these figures in any answer. This is just to give you an overall sense of where the world is heading, right? At best, you will quote one of these, any one of these, okay, whichever you prefer, but you can't quote all of that data, right? Now, another reason for secularization has been religious pluralism. Another causative factor is religious pluralism. Religious pluralism means what? That there are multiple religious groups in modern societies, right? Plurality of religions. Simply, in pre-modern societies were far more homogeneous. So, people had the same religious beliefs and sentiments in pre-modern societies. They were mostly mono-religious in character. सभी एक ही पूजा पद्धति फॉलो करते थे, एक ही सेट ऑफ देवी देवताओं में विश्वास रखते थे, right? But modern societies are increasingly heterogeneous in terms of their religious composition. There are multiple religious communities in modern societies. ठीक? Now, how does that result in secularization or decline of religion? Please try to appreciate. Basically, when there is only one religion in a society, then that religion can claim the monopoly over the religious truth. Are you with me? In mono-religious societies, the governing religion or the sole religion can claim a monopoly over the religious truth. I repeat, in pre-modern times, in a mono-religious society, one religion can successfully claim monopoly over the religious truth. But in modern societies, which have multiple religions, different religions their religious beliefs, explanations, etc. may clash with each other, may compete with each other. Are you with me? Because of which the hold of religion over the mind of man declines. Different religions in a multi-religious society will offer competing explanations, conflicting explanations. ठीक? Because of which the hold of religion over the minds of people weakens. When you have competing explanations or competing versions of the truth, yes or no, the hold of religion over the minds of people weakens or loosens. Simply, friends, consider this. So, India, we are a pluralistic society in terms of our religious composition. We have multiple religions. As a practicing Hindu, okay, I consider the cow as sacred, as a mother figure. गौ माता है, पूजनीय है, हमारे मंदिर में उसकी तस्वीर है जिसके सामने हम मत्था टेकते हैं एज अ प्रैक्टिसिंग हिंदू. Yes or no? But then, when I meet my Muslim friends, he says कि भाई खाके तो देख, यमी है, मम्मी नहीं है, यमी है. Yes or no? So my belief as a Hindu in the sacredness of the cow will be somewhat shaken. Why? Because in the Muslim mind, the cow is not sacred. There's nothing sacred. In fact, it's a laughable matter. How can an animal be considered a mother by human beings? It's irrationality. Yes or no? Are you with me? Do we have in the class, therefore, several, say, beef-eating Hindus? Or do you personally know of Hindu friends who eat beef in modern times? Yes or no? We all do. So, my belief in Hinduism stands shaken because of the competing or alternative explanation or alternative versions of truth. Yes or no? Likewise, there would be several things mentioned in the Holy Quran or in Islamic religious scriptures which will not make sense to the Hindu mind. So Hindu will ask his Muslim friend, what's wrong with Gana Bajana? Why is there a prohibition on, say, music or this or that in Islam? That is irrational. We in Hinduism don't have any such this thing. Why do you take offense? If say, yeah. So where was I? Yeah, so to the Hindu mind, many things mentioned in other scriptures would not make sense. So Hindu would ask his Muslim friend, why do you take offense if somebody depicts Prophet Muhammad, pictorially? See, this is a very nice depiction of the Prophet Muhammad, and the Muslim mind will take offense. But its belief in Islamic theology will also stand shaken. Hindu mandirs are replete with sculptures, beautiful sculptures at that of Devi Devtas. So why is there such a strong prohibition on depicting prophets or God in Islam? Are you with me? So religious pluralism therefore weakens the hold of religion in society. Another causative factor for secularization is the proliferation of sects and cults. proliferation of sects and cults. Proliferation matlab spread, multiplication of sects and cults. What are sects and cults? We'll discuss at great length later. For now, consider that they are simply small religious groupings. Small religious groupings, relatively new and small religious groupings are sects and cults. For example, Hinduism is not a sect. Arya Samaj, Brahmo Samaj, these are sects. Just to give you some context. Clear? Now, or the various Baba Log ki dukaan that you see in modern society, these are sects and cults. Okay? Now these have multiplied or proliferated in modern society. Modern society has multiple sects and cults. This proliferation of sects and cults, what does it seem to suggest? Has religion declined? Or is there it has a greater pull? Does it suggest the proliferation of sects and cults, the fact that people are increasingly gravitating towards Babas and Matas? Yes or no? Does that suggest that religion has declined or in fact on an upswing? Conventional thinking would suggest that religion is people are more attracted to religion. That's why they are thronging Babas and Matas. But scholars like Wilson and Bruce suggest that this indicates a decline in the importance of religion in society. How? एक सेंटेंस लिखो फिर समझाता हूं. It's a beautiful sentence. Sects and cults are the last refuge of the religiously inclined people in a largely secularized modern society. Sects and cults are the last refuge of those who are religiously inclined. Meaning what, friends? In a pre-modern society, everybody in the society was religious, had a religious bent. So if I had any religious quest, if I had any spiritual questions that I was seeking answers to, they could be satisfied by other members of the society. Are you with me? But in modern society, people in general, the mainstream society is devoid of religion or there is no religion. People are simply not interested in religion. For example, if in modern times, I am spiritually inclined and I go to my brother, ki brother, I was wondering blah blah blah. He will say what? Ki bhai, let's focus on business. Yes or no? The finances it's like a tough economy. Then I say, theek hai, bhai is not interested, I go to my wife. And I say, I was wondering, whether God exists and this and that. And she says, bore mat karo na, movie chalte hain. Yes or no? Bluntly, wider society, mainstream society is simply not interested in religion. तो मैं कहाँ जाऊंगा? बाबा के चरणों में कि बाबा आप ही बताओ, आप ही मेरे इस religious कश्मकश का निवारण करो. Resolve my the spiritual dilemmas or questions to which I am seeking answers. Are you with me? So, as the wider mainstream society is becoming increasingly secularized, devoid of religion, those who are religiously minded are thronging to Babas and Matas or sects and cults. Okay? So, the proliferation of sects and cults indicates secularization or decline of religion in society. ठीक? Sects and cults are basically small and relatively new religious groupings. ठीक? I'll give you break on time. Don't look at me with so much lalsa in your eyes. ठीक है? I'll give you when the opportune time for it comes, which is soon. Chaliye, another evidence of the process of secularization is that church itself has become increasingly secularized. Organized religion itself is giving up on religion. कौन कहते हैं? Will Herberg. मतलब क्या? Religious institutions are losing their religious character. Simply, very odd kind of a phenomena was witnessed. For those interested in religiosity in society. While churches in Europe, now I'm talking about the physical buildings where Christians worship. While churches in Europe were mostly empty and barren, right? They were without any patronage or without any major footfalls. Churches in the United States of America, which is also a very modern, very developed society, were full, chock-a-block. Churches in the US were witnessing massive footfalls, house full. And how this, seeming contradiction is to be explained? US also being a very modern, developed society. That explanation is given by, Herberg. What he says, basically churches in the US have secularized. In other words, American society is also very secularized. People are not interested in religion. So what the churches have done, church officials, pastors या जो भी होते हैं वो, instead of delivering religious sermons, they now deliver motivational speeches. America is a very, achievement-oriented, materialistic, individualistic kind of society. There's a lot of emphasis on wealth creation and, material success. So, churches have modified their offerings. Instead of talking of religion, they are talking of, like things like 7 habits of highly successful people or इस टाइप की जो motivational books नहीं आती, उसके sermons इन्होंने देने शुरू कर दिए. Simply, like you have in a market economy, a firm would modify its products to suit the changing demands of the clients. Likewise, churches have also modified their product or their offering. If people are not interested in religion, churches are not selling religion. People are interested in motivation, blah, blah, so churches are selling or doing that in order to attract patrons. Are you with me? Closer home. इतना दूर क्या जाए, हम तो US गए नहीं. In India, one of the most popular Babas today is Baba Ramdev. Yes, he's Bhagavadhari. He's called a Baba. Yes or no? But tell me, what does Baba Ramdev sell you? Does he sell you religion? Have you heard him? Does he sell you religion? Rarely. Yes or no? What does he mainly sell you? Health. Health benefits is what he mainly sells you. That's his claim to fame. Yes or no? So he may be a Baba, but he's selling you health benefits instead of religion. He doesn't deliver religious sermons. Then he realized nationalism also sells. So he started selling a bit of nationalism also. Then he realized anti-corruption also sells. So he expanded his dukaan to include some anti-corruption also. Then he realized jeans and noodles also sell. So he started offering those also. जो बिकता है वो धर्म के ठेकेदार बेचते हैं. अगर रिलीजन नहीं बिक रहा, जो बिकेगा, जो जनता मांगेगी, जो मार्केट मांगेगी, वो हम बेचेंगे. ठीक है. सॉरी, यूरोपियन चर्चेज वर मोर कन्वेंशनल इन दैट सेंस. अमेरिकन चर्चेज वर मोर अडेप्टिव. ठीक है. So there are various historical and privatization of church in the US. ठीक है. Also, another area where we see decline of religion is life crisis events. In pre-modern societies, friends, during the important life crisis events, lot of religious fervor, religious activity and rituals used to take place. Life crisis events matlab why those transformative major padavs in life such as birth of a child, attainment of puberty, marriage, death, etc. Right? During all of these life crisis events, the church, the priestly class used to play an important role. Now in modern societies, their role during the life crisis events has greatly diminished. For example, one life crisis event we all would have attended is marriages. Have we all been to marriages? Conventionally, marriages used to be conducted in places of worship, like temples and churches. Yes or no? How many marriages in temples have you attended? सोच के बताओ. Out of all the marriages that you have attended, how many were in temples? Only one. And out of totally how many? Scores of you've lost count of possibly. I have never been to a marriage in a temple. I have once been to a marriage in a gurudwara. Never been to a marriage in a mosque or church. Where do we conduct marriages in modern societies? कहाँ जाते हैं marriages में? Banquet halls में, hotels में, pandals में, anywhere except for a temple. Yes or no? And look at the whole marriage, the whole wedding process. Now, wedding, say in Hindu culture, it's a very sacred bond. The marital union is a very sacred bond. So it was conventionally or in olden times associated with very detailed, elaborate rituals. Are you with me? Lasting several days. But what about modern Hindu marriages? Vesto और चार कदम आगे. What about modern day Hindu marriages? क्या होता है marriage में? It starts with क्या होता है तुम्हारा? जयमाल से पहले क्या? अरे पहले वो होगा कॉकटेल, जब दोनों परिवार के लोग मिलके शराब पिएंगे. फिर क्या होगा? संगीत, जिसमें दोनों परिवार के लोग मिलके वल्गर बॉलीवुड सॉन्ग्स पे डांस करेंगे. यस और नो? फिर क्या होगा? घुड़चड़ी, जिसमें फॉर सम रीजन मेरे देश की धरती पे हम डांस करेंगे. आई नो व्हाई, इट कंप्लीटली मेक्स नो सेंस. Where is religion in all of this? Are you with me? Religion is simply missing from this very elaborate. फिर उसके बाद क्या होगा? वेडिंग फंक्शन में आप जाओगे, there will be a very elaborate spread from golgappas and chaat papdi to hard drinks in a corner, where elderly men would have a napkin wrapped around the glass and having it coyly. Then you would have various things. You will have pizzas and you will have momos and everything. And you will have a photo op session. Then, वो कुछ होता है सबसे छोटा, जो फेरे का समय होता है. That is where religion does come in during the Hindu wedding. In my marriage, friends, we had about 2,000 guests. During the feras, we were less than 20. Really, परिवार के लोग नहीं रुके. इतना लेट है. Are you with me? So much of the marriage is a secularized affair. And उसमें भी you give to Pandit ji 500 rupees extra की जल्दी कर देना. Yes or no? So we've shortened marriage rituals. Religion has been literally sidelined in the whole Hindu marriage. So during major life crisis events, इसी तरह बच्चे के होने पे पहले बहुत कुछ होता था. हिंदुइज्म में देर आर 16 संस्कार्स और 16 इंपॉर्टेंट रिचुअल्स दैट नीड टू बी परफॉर्म ड्यूरिंग अ पर्सन्स लाइफ टाइम. द एवरेज मॉडर्न डे हिंदू डज नॉट परफॉर्म मोर देन 4-5. एक मुंडन हम जरूर कर लेते हैं, एक अन्न प्रश्न कई लोग कर लेते हैं कि बच्चे को जो पहला बाहर का चखाते हैं, यू नो, अदर देन दी मदर्स मिल्क, ठीक है, तब थोड़ा पंडित का रोल जाता है. एक मुंडन पे नाई को बुला लेते हैं, और एक विवाह संस्कार शादी का, और फिर अंतिम संस्कार. 16 में से 4-5 करते हैं. नहीं करते आजकल, कि कितनों ने सेक्रेट थ्रेड सेरेमनी की यहां पे, है ना, वेरी फ्यू. सो पॉइंट इज, लॉट ऑफ दीज life crisis events and rituals associated. Likewise, you know, earlier the attainment of puberty, particularly for the girl child, was an important life crisis event, accompanied by elaborate rituals. How many female students here had elaborate rituals associated with puberty performed? One hand out of so many. Are you with me? So it's not done. एक टाइम हमें भगवान जरूर याद आता है. विच लाइफ क्राइसिस इवेंट? ब्रेकअप. और उस पे कौन सा रिचुअल होता है? सॉरी, डेथ. यस, हाँ. सो दैट इज स्टिल एसोसिएटेड विद अ लॉट ऑफ तामझाम. अब उसमें भी इलेक्ट्रिक फर्नेसेस आ गए हैं, हाँ, रादर देन द कन्वेंशनल वे. सो रिलीजन इज रिसीडिंग from various in importance from your break is just around the corner. Also, likewise friends, religion is taking a backseat during religious festivals. During religious festivities also, religion takes a backseat. For example, in our own society, okay, the biggest festival in India is Diwali. And how do we celebrate Diwali? कैसे celebrate करते हैं? पटाखे फोड़ते हैं. Where is religion in that? मिठाई बांटते हैं. Where is religion in that? So the essence of religion. Yes or no? दिवाली क्यों मनाई जाती है? पूजा पाठ होती है एक घर में, एक ऑफिस में. But rest of it is quite secularized affair. और बताऊं, दिल्ली जैसे समाज में हम ताश पार्टियां करते हैं, जिसमें हम सब मिलके दिवाली की खुशी में शराब पीते हैं. Yes or no? एंड हम जुआ खेलते हैं पैसे लगा के. इस तरह से हम भगवान श्री राम का अयोध्या में आगमन सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. वी फॉरगॉट इट्स अबाउट भगवान श्री राम का आगमन और हिज, यू नो, होम कमिंग टू अयोध्या. यस और नो? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव अटेंडेड दीज दिवाली पार्टीज? रेज योर हैंड्स. हाँ, बाकी सब शर्मिंदा हैं, बट लॉट ऑफ अस पॉसिबली हैव सेलिब्रेटेड फेस्टिवल्स. और होली, हाउ डू वी सेलिब्रेट होली? पटाखे जलाते हैं. हाँ, अच्छा, पटक के. सो हम होली मनाते हैं रंग लगा के, भांग पी के, है ना, एंड अश्लील गानों पे उसके साथ अकम्पनिंग डांस करके, हाँ, मिठाइयां खा के. आर यू विद मी? हाँ, वो शाम को 5 मिनट की पूजा घर का एक सदस्य कर आता है, जो वो जलाने होते हैं ना चने, होलिका दहन के उस पे, है ना. So religion is taken. Likewise, Christmas in the West, much of the West has been reduced to a shopping festival. Now that's also happening to Diwali. किसी भी मॉल में चला जाओ, दिवाली धमाका, दिवाली ऑफर. Yes or no? हाँ, इंटरनेट खोलो, दिवाली धमाका, खरीदते रहो. So that is what we have reduced our religious festivals to across the board. Yes or no? Sorry? So that is secularization. Take your well-deserved short break. ठीक है? Because we have a long road to travel today. Please settle down. Chaliye guys, let us continue with discussing, coming specifically to secularization in Indian society. Secularization in Indian society. What is your sense, friends? Forget the West for a moment, specifically talking about our society. Have we undergone secularization? Or in other words, in your view, has religion declined in social significance in our society also? Huh? Yes or no? Or do you think, nahi, Indian case is quite different from the West? In our society, religion is all important. It is all pervasive. If you hold that contrarian view, please share, or whatever view. Brother?
With Indian society, it's different.
Hmm.
Because of the very nature of religion, because with Abrahamic religions,
Hmm.
there is always an either or case. But in,
Either or as in?
as in either you're part of the church,
Hmm.
but this commandment type religion structure
Hmm.
is not there in Hinduism. It's very flexible in that sense. For example,
So are you suggesting therefore we have not undergone secularization?
secularization has become religion has kind of eaten secularization. It has imbibed. But then because for example in Pew Research,
Hmm.
97.2 if I'm not wrong was the number of religious people in India.
Hmm.
That is way more than
So you're suggesting India contradicts this trend of secularization, which is more of a, or which is more better applied to Abrahamic religions. ठीक है. And guys, what is your sense? Rest of you, have we undergone secularization? Have we become less religious with passage of time or with modernization? The essence of religion has declined. हाँ. Okay, किस सेंस में डिक्लाइन हुआ है? We don't follow all rituals. We have shortened the rituals. We are partying during Diwali, that is Western influence. ठीक है. So, M.N. Srinivas, he wrote, friends, and I quote, M.N. Srinivas is one of the big daddies of Indian sociology and anthropology. Okay, we'll study him at length in paper 2. M.N. Srinivas wrote, and I quote, today there is little religion Today there is little religion in the day-to-day life of an average Indian. Today there is little religion in the day-to-day life of an average Indian. And mind you, this he wrote around 5-6 decades back. तब से तो और modernization बड़ा ही है. Today there is little religion in the day-to-day life of an average Indian. So according to M.N. Srinivas, Indian society has also greatly undergone a process of secularization. I'm just explaining or dictating how he explains secularization. Please continue writing. According to Srinivas, secularization means, thank you. Secularization means that what was previously regarded as religious is now ceasing to be so. Is now ceasing to be so. Matlab it's no more being seen as religious. What was earlier seen as or regarded as religious, now it is no more regarded as religious. ठीक? Full stop. Secularization also entails I repeat, secularization also involves a process of differentiation. A process of differentiation so that various aspects of society dash economic, political, and religious become separated from each other. Become separated from each other. I hope this meaning is clear. We've discussed it earlier also. What was earlier considered as religious, now it is not regarded as religious. And there is a process of differentiation, meaning different structures, they concern themselves with different things. Religion, which was earlier involved in other spheres of social life, now it is no more involved. Clear? Now, what are the factors that have caused or contributed to secularization in India? Let us try to appreciate. हम क्यों सेक्युलराइज हुए? हमारे यहां क्यों रिलीजन डिक्लाइन हुआ? Sorry? Raise your hand and speak. Globalization. Okay, so are you suggesting it's a relatively recent phenomena? Given that globalization is somewhat, marked around 1990s, early 1990s. One of the factors is globalization. Internal forces like what?
Like the
Lower caste movements. So they have challenged the, conventional or whatever Hinduism teaches, okay? Or is a part of it. They have sought to challenge that, question that. Western or modern education and British colonial rule. How did British rule contribute to it? Western, and how did Western education or modern education result in secularization? You're right.
After the French Revolution and Industrial Revolution, this commodification and several aspects of those revolutions came under the writings of various thinkers, and those thinkers were studied by the people.
In Indian society also, Western notions were introduced. The Enlightenment values were introduced. ठीक है, brother? Same thing? God, this must be some sort of a, this thing, no? Mind transfer, sitting close by. Bitya? दादा दादी जो सिखाते थे, अब दादा दादी नहीं साथ में रहते तो कैसे सिखाएंगे? So family nuclearization, nice point. Brother? Freedom struggle contributed to secularization. Why? How? So are you saying constitution contributed to secularization? How? Secularism is there in the constitution. Bitya? Yes. So the social religious reform movement supported by colonists, colonizers, they also somewhat criticized various aspects of. बिल्कुल ठीक है yes, so many of these factors have greatly contributed to secularization in Indian society. Okay, so the various causative factors are as follows. Okay, Srinivas also has spoken about them, and in general also. following causative factors for secularization in India. Modern education. So modern education, as was rightly pointed out, it de-emphasizes upon religious instruction, religious training. Scriptural knowledge is replaced in the modern education system by scientific knowledge, which fosters rationality and the scientific temperament, right? आप सब भी तो इसी मॉडर्न एजुकेशन को पा पा के नॉन रिलीजियस हो गए हो इंक्रीजिंगली, राइट? Social religious reform movements. And many of you mentioned the British. Tell me, was this process of secularization halted or reversed after attaining independence? Since many of you trace, or kind of put the onus on the British, was secularization reversed or halted after we attained independence? No, instead it was accelerated. It was accelerated, right, by the Nehruvian state. क्या लिखा है? Social religious reform movements. So various movements like Arya Samaj, Brahmo Samaj, etc., they criticized various social religious practices like sati, child marriage, untouchability, etc., right? Or they highlighted the various social evils in orthodox Hinduism. Right? There were several movements that were critical of religion. Movements critical of religion that have also dented the social salience of religion in our society. Which movements? Such as the communist movement in India. So you have two important communist parties in our political system, CPI and CPI Marxist, right? And they have had an important, they have had significant political sway, right? They have been ruling parties in parts of India for long periods. Also, Periyar's movement, his what is called self-respect movement by Periyar. He was a gentleman in Tamil Nadu. He was highly critical of religion in general, Hinduism in particular. Okay? And massive influence in Tamil Nadu politics felt till this date. He's long dead, but he has a massive following, and in Tamil Nadu till this date. You had Ambedkarite movement. Again, Ambedkar was not critical of religion in general, but he was very critical of Hinduism specifically. Extremely critical of Hinduism. So the Ambedkarite movement. Before Ambedkar, you had Phule's writings. Jyotirao Phule. He was also very critical of Hinduism. ठीक? May I delete, rub it off? Another reason, friends, is the legal and constitutional framework that we have adopted since independence. The legal and constitutional framework. How has the legal and constitutional framework contributed? Yes, so you know, in the constitution, for instance, you have a ban or prohibition on untouchability. The constitution explicitly provides for क्या नाम है तुम्हारा, इक्वालिटी अक्रॉस कास्ट्स, इट प्रोविजंस फॉर जेंडर इक्वालिटी. So many of the things which find mention in the constitutional and legal framework militate against what the religion has conventionally understood what it teaches. Yes or no? Or you could have, so for example, the ban on sati. Okay, so there are various social religious practices. The more recent banning of triple talaq. Okay, or opening up of, say, Sabrimala temple to women, judicial pronouncements, laws, etc., constitutional provisions. They also have a modernizing effect and thereby dent the hold of religion in social affairs. Right? Also, may I? May I? Urbanization and industrialization. Urbanization and industrialization. How does urbanization contribute to secularization? Simply, urban living is characterized by heterogeneity. So you have multiple religious identities in an urban setting. Hindus co-mingle with Muslims and Christians and Parsis and this and that. Yes or no? And as we had discussed, religious plurality dents the monopoly of a particular religion over the truth. Yeah? You have competing and clashing versions of the truth offered by different religions. Clear? I am saying that in cities, people of different religious backgrounds mix with each other. You have heterogeneity or religious diversity. So no one religion can claim monopoly over the truth. What we had discussed while talking about religious pluralism a while back. Yeah? How does industrialization contribute to secularization in India? So with industrialization, what happens is, there is this, a large number of caste-free occupations come up. People pursue and adopt increasing number of caste-free occupations. Are you with me? So, while in pre-modern India, people followed their caste-specific occupations. लोहार का बेटा लोहारी करता था, कुम्हार का बेटा कुम्हारी करता था, बढ़ई का बेटा बढ़ई करता था, and so on and so forth. And the caste system receives sanction from the parent religion of Hinduism. But in modern industrializing India, what is the caste of a computer engineer? There is no caste of a computer engineer. Yes or no? So you have such multiple caste-free occupations which people, irrespective of their caste backgrounds, pursue. तो बढ़ई का बेटा भी कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर बन रहा है, कुम्हार का बेटा भी कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर बन रहा है, ब्राह्मण का बेटा भी कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर बन रहा है, बनिए का भी, सुनार का भी, चमार का भी, सारी कास्ट का या अक्रॉस कास्ट का कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर बन रहा है. ठीक? So the role of religion and its progeny, the caste system, in economic affairs greatly reduces. ठीक? Also, friends, the spread of scientific temperament. Please appreciate, friends, that the spread of scientific temper was one of the stated goals of public policy under the Nehruvian state? Yes or no? आपने कहीं ना कहीं पढ़ा भी होगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल या किसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स में है, फंडामेंटल दोनों में है. फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज में है द स्प्रेड ऑफ साइंटिफिक टेम्पर, है ना. चाचा नेहरू ने क्या बोला था कि मॉडर्न इंडस्ट्री एंड दीज बिग डैम्स विल बी दी टेम्पल्स ऑफ मॉडर्न इंडिया, राइट. So he laid down a very strong foundation for the growth of development and growth of a scientific temper, promoting rationality, considering religion to be associated with obscurantism, superstition, backwardness, regressiveness, etc. ठीक. तो जैसे जैसे scientific temper and rationality spread होती रही, people became less engaged with religion. For example, many, and I suspect most of modern people or amongst us, we are modern people, would question the rationale behind religious rituals. Yes or no? संस्कृत में मंत्र क्यों बोलते हैं? हिंदी में बोले पंडित लोग. So many things. हवन क्यों करते हैं? उससे पोल्यूशन होता है. And so on and so forth. Right? So, this is about secularization in Indian society. Now tell me, friends, regarding secularization in India, one important question that is before social scientists is whether Hindu society is more susceptible to the forces of secularization. Are Hindus more vulnerable, friends, to the process of secularization? In other words, has the importance of religion declined to a greater extent amongst Hindus due to modernization, etc., than other or non-Hindu religious communities in India? What is your sense? Or, very frankly, to draw a very straightforward comparison, you compare with Muslims. Why? Because they are the second biggest religious demographic, right? The most substantive. 14% of Indian population is Muslim. 80% is roughly Hindu. And then 2-3% Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism karke. And Christianity. So, are Hindus more secularized than, I'm talking about India only, Muslims in India? Why? I hope you are able to put this background picture in context. Yeah, it's a scene from a popular movie, Bollywood movie, PK, which shows Bhagwan Shivji running scared, cornered in a toilet, public toilet. Okay? And we all had a very hearty laugh when we saw this movie, and this became a super hit in Hindu India. So, is it that Hindus are more secularized, less religious than other religious communities? And why? Brother. So, Muslims are less educated, therefore they are also less secularized. So, they have less access to or less exposed to modern education, which also accounts for lesser levels of secularization. In Hinduism, we have diversity. So, Islam teaches or preaches about the existence of one God. It is monotheistic. While Hinduism has a plethora of deities. So they are more united. Hinduism is characterized by diversity. Very well put. So can you, so there are, very clear prohibitions and restrictions in other faiths, or particularly in Abrahamic faiths, than in Hinduism. In fact, I remember during childhood, we used to joke amongst our friend circle. So, we had a Muslim friend, so it was very clear he will never have alcohol. Then there was a Sikh friend, it was very clear he will not smoke. And कहते थे तुम हिंदू कुछ भी कर सकते हो, है ना, तुम्हें कोई प्रोहिबिशन नहीं है, या सब चलता है, and still you can be a Hindu. बिटिया? We are less connected to our scriptures and rituals, and why is that? Than, say, the Indian Muslim. The Indian Hindus are less connected to their rituals and scriptures than people of other faiths. Why? Sikhs are also less connected. More connected than Hindus. Why? So Muslims etc. would derive or prefer to have a thorough acquaintance with Quran or the Hadith than go to religious preachers, which is not entirely correct, very frankly. Okay? With due respect, but it's not entirely correct. Babas and all are very popular amongst Muslims, pretty popular amongst Muslims as well. Brother? The fact that there is no one single book, absolutely. Yeah, elaborate. How many of you have felt this confusion कि यार पढ़ने का मन तो है पर क्या ही पढ़ें? कितनी तो है, इतने उपनिषद पढ़ें, 4 तो वेद हैं, वो भी मोटे मोटे, भागवत गीता पढ़ें या भागवतम पढ़ें, उन दोनों में अंतर क्या है? हाँ, इट्स माइंड बॉगलिंग. It's very esoteric. It's very mysterious. Whatever is mentioned is not easy to understand. Whatever the Hindu scriptures say. Bitya? There, matlab? In other religions, social controls are very strong and rigid. Not so in Hinduism. Example? Strict restrictions. वैसे ऐसा नहीं है कि burqa is a wrong example. ठीक है, but say the prohibition on eating pork, very rigidly followed by most Muslims. And you would find far more Hindus eating beef than Muslims eating pork. No gurukuls available for Hindus, but plenty madrasas for the teaching of, preaching Islamic teachings. But they did have their Aligarh movement and Ahmadiyyas. It was a modernizing this thing. And why do you think there were fewer reform movements amongst Muslims than, say, amongst Hindus? The question is why? Why doesn't it do so amongst Hindus?
Because there is so much diversity.
Okay, so it is the diversity after all. Freedom of thought is there. Very well put. Brother?
Sir, I think in India, in case of Muslims, during their socialization, those norms and values are more inculcated than.
During the early years in childhood, Muslim children are far more exposed to Islamic teachings than Hindu children during their childhood. How many of you have received any sort of religious instruction, maybe informally or at home by parents or whatever, during early childhood? Have you read scriptures? I have had students from this class itself tell me that sometimes their parents scolded them when they picked up scriptures. ठीक है कि ये उम्र नहीं है, ये तो बुढ़ापे में भी पढ़ सकते हो, अभी आप पढ़ाई पे फोकस करो. और बताइए बेटी. Hmm.
fasting, but in Eastern society, you can eat non-veg, there is no fasting associated with it, they celebrate it in fact.
So there's diversity of rituals and practices. Very true. Huh? You don't have one homogeneous, clear-cut, laid-down path to salvation. Brother?
The question of why social reform was at a smaller extent among the Muslims, I believe there are two points that come to my mind. One being the fact that the Muslims have a much stronger faith within, with what they already have, their own.
They are more strongly attached to their religion than Hindus. Huh.
Secondly, the extent of education.
Extent of education. Muslims are less exposed to modern education. By education we mean modern.
At that particular point of time when all of this was going on.
ठीक है, ठीक है. Thank you. So yes, the scholarly opinion is also that Hindus are far more vulnerable to the forces of secularization than other religious communities. M.N. Srinivas agrees with you on this assessment. Okay? That Hindu society is far more open to and vulnerable to the forces of secularization than other religious communities in India. Due to various factors, many of which you guys also mentioned. I repeat, Hindus are more prone to the process of secularization than other religious communities in India because, as many of you suggested, in Hinduism there is no single book. There is no one book. There is no one authority. There is no one idea of Godhead. So you have multiplicity of belief systems within Hinduism. Multiplicity of Devis and Devtas within Hinduism. Multiplicity of scriptures within Hinduism. Yes or no? Multiplicity of religious philosophies within Hinduism. Because of which, friends, Hinduism or Hindu society is far more cosmopolitan in character. It is far more cosmopolitan in character because of its internal, diversity within its fold. Hinduism is far more cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan matlab open, open-minded and accepting of diversity and change, etc. Are you with me? It is far less rigid, far more accepting and open. For example, if you worship a particular Devi or Devta, say if you are a Krishna Bhakt, while I do not worship Krishnji, I worship Shivji. Am I, in your eyes, any less Hindu than you are? The answer is clearly no. Yes or no? If I have a different understanding of the nature of divinity, Bhagwan, does he have a definitive form or is he formless? And if I believe that he has a particular beautiful form, am I any less Hindu than you are? No. Nirgun bhi hai, sagun bhi hai. Yes or no? If you believe in the sanctity of the Vedas and I do not subscribe to the authority of the Vedas, am I less Hindu than you are? No. There are several schools of thought within the Hindu fold who deny the sanctity of the Vedas. But they are no less Hindu for that. Are you with me? So Hinduism is very open. It is very flexible. It is characterized by a lot of diversity within its fold. So that is one aspect which makes it very susceptible to the forces of secularization. So say in Abrahamic faiths, or where you have a single, preeminent scripture, like the Quran amongst Muslims, there is a far greater clarity, and therefore, as a result of it, far greater rigidity to that notion, to subscribe to that particular notion. Are you with me? Also, friends, please appreciate throughout its civilizational history, Hinduism and Hindu culture has been very regularly challenged and questioned. Throughout its civilizational history, Hindu culture, Hinduism has been continuously challenged and questioned. For instance, more than 2000 years back, Buddhism and Jainism emerged criticizing certain aspects of Hindu social organization. Yes or no? Then centuries later, you had Bhakti saints questioning Brahmanical control or monopoly over religious matters. Yes or no? Then you had Sikhism, which also questioned, say, the hierarchical nature of the caste system. Are you with me? Then during the modern period, you had various socio-religious reform movements like Arya Samaj, Brahmo Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, ityadi, which again questioned and challenged certain socio-religious practices within Hinduism. Yes or no? Meaning what, friends? That for more than 2000 years, we have been regularly told, पीट पीट के तुम गलत हो, तुम में ये खराबी, तुम में वो खराबी. You need to reform, you need to change. So that has also made us more accommodating. हमने भी सोचा कि जब इतने लोग कह रहे हैं तो हाँ हम गलत होंगे ही. ठीक? फिर जब हमें एनलाइटनमेंट वैल्यूज इंट्रोड्यूस हुई, उन्होंने अलग क्रिटिसाइज किया. कास्ट सिस्टम बुरा है, सती प्रथा बुरी है, चाइल्ड मैरिज बुरी है, विडोज की ट्रीटमेंट बुरी है, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. आर यू विद मी? सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऑल्सो, मतलब वी हैव बीन डूइंग इट सिंस एजेस, adapting and changing and reforming. Are you with me? So that is also a part, like a part and parcel of our civilizational history. Bear with me, huh? Also, friends, now in independent India, Hindus constitute a demographic majority. Numerically, Hindus are the biggest chunk, 80% of the total population. So, in lot of societies that happens, not just India, the religious minorities or the any minority groups, they tend to cling to their religious identity more strongly than members of the majority community. Why? Because members of the religious minority, they want to preserve their distinctive identity and culture. Otherwise, they fear losing it. Are you with me? Those in a majority, they tend to be more, assured of their identity and place in society. So Hindus, being in a demographic majority, were also more open to the process of modernization and secularization than the minority religious communities, who more strongly clung to their religious beliefs and customs. ठीक है? In order to preserve their distinctive identity. Also, friends, may I? Also, please appreciate that a lot of initiative for secularization was taken by the Indian state. It was the Indian state which spread scientific temper, modern education, modern legislative and constitutional framework, so much of it. Yes or no? A lot of initiative was taken by the Indian state. Now the Indian state, in the aftermath of independence, which was accompanied by a bloody partition on religious grounds, it thought it fit to intervene in the religious affairs of the majority community. साफ बात है, if a majority are Hindus, who will end up controlling the state apparatus? The Hindus in a democracy. It's a numbers game. Right? So as an assurance to minorities, their religious practices and affairs were not interfered with. So there were less initiatives from the Indian state to reform, modernize the affairs of the minority communities, and more initiatives were taken to reform Hindu society, modernize Hindu Samaj. ठीक है? I repeat, post-independence Indian state also intervened more in the affairs of the Hindus through legislation, etc., than the minority communities. ठीक? Lastly, do you agree with this proposition, broadly, this concept of secularization, that with modernization, religion has declined in its social importance? Yes or no? No. Let us now quickly criticize this notion of secularization. क्या हुआ? कोई नहीं. Bear with me for some time. Unquantified. Criticism of this concept of secularization. Secularization means what? It is this theory or this argument that religion has declined in modern society or with modernization. Pre-modern society was more religious. Modern society, people are less concerned with religion. Right? This is secularization. Now, when we talk about secularization, several problems arise. First and foremost is the problem of measurement. The problem of measurement. Simply, how do you capture religiosity of a people? How do you quantify people's level of religiosity? Like we had discussed some time back, if you recollect, we don't have any standardized units of measurement to capture people's religiosity. Right? Let us say you are doing PhD in sociology and you have been given this research topic that you assess whether secularization has taken place in the West, okay, and you are sent to the US by JNU to conduct research over there. ठीक? So how will you try to capture whether the West is secularized or not? कैसे कैप्चर करोगे, नापोगे, मेजर करोगे? बताओ, लॉजिकली सोच के बताओ. हाउ? He will make a 0 to 10 scale and you conduct a survey. So people will mark their level of religiosity. Then you will process that data, take a geometric mean or whatever. The problem with this approach, he's devising a scale. A, what is your understanding of level 3 of religiosity might be different from my level 3 of religiosity. Secondly, so you don't have a standardized universal measurement unit. Secondly, the problem with this scale or this method, you will capture the level of religiosity when? At the time of survey. Say in 2023 or 24. But to comment whether secularization has taken place or religion has declined, a similar survey should have been conducted in pre-modern times. Only then can you say, okay, the overall or geometric mean score in before pre-industrialization was this much and today it is this much. So one can conclusively state that such has been a decline in religiosity. Such surveys would be rarely or not available. Are you with me? You require some comparative data from pre-modern times to modern times. Now, so how can you get comparative data? Think of pre-modern Europe and modern Europe. From what kind of data can you collect? One kind of data which is available from pre-modern times is church attendance. So you do have actually, detailed records of church attendance from medieval Europe surviving to this day. Okay? And that is widely relied upon by many of those who suggest that secularization has taken place. They say, see, church attendance has fallen from so much to so much. But there is a problem with relying upon church attendance as a measure of secularization. One problem is the measurement techniques in medieval times were very crude, unsophisticated. For example, they used to maintain physical registers and would mark, people's attendance back then. Now, if you capture data, you can do so through biometric attendance. Are you with me? Far more sophisticated measures. So, you will end up comparing apples and oranges. Are you with me? Because of the crude or unrefined, unsophisticated measurement tools and techniques back then. Another problem is that church attendance may not necessarily be an indicator of religiosity. Church attendance may be due to other factors other than due to non-religious factors. When we say decline due to other, other yani no other than religious or religiosity. Please appreciate. Once you write, then I will explain. Once you're done writing. Simply, friends, may I? In medieval Europe, or pre-modern Europe, people may be inspired by factors other than religion to attend church. For example, some people have suggested that people in medieval Europe used to go a lot to church because it was a sign of respectability or high social status. People would visit church in large numbers in pre-modern times because church going was considered as an indicator of high social status. I repeat, people used to throng churches or go to churches visit churches frequently in pre-modern times because church going was associated with a high social status. As a parallel, consider that if I were to today conduct a Mata ka Jagrata, does that mean I am a very big bhakt of Mata Rani? No. I may be conducting a Mata ka Jagrata to show off that I can gather a crowd of hundreds of people, that I know the local MLA who is, making an appearance at the Mata ka Jagrata. In other words, just because I am doing a religious activity like Mata ka Jagrata may not indicate my level of religiosity. Are you with me? Similarly, in medieval Europe, people possibly went to church more because of other factors, non-religious factors, such as, to signify social respectability. In modern society, however, church going is no more considered a sign of high social status. In modern times, if I have to signify high social status, what will I do? I'll possibly purchase an iPhone. That is more an indicator of high social status than visits to the church. That is why people have stopped going to the church. Are you with me? So church going maybe influenced by non-religious factors. So it may not be an accurate measure of religiosity. Right? Clear? So if church attendance has declined, we can't categorically say or conclusively say that people are less religious. Okay? Another factor, friends, another criticism, Berger and Luckman they suggest that religion in modern times has become more individualized. Religion or worship has become more individualized. Earlier it was more of a community affair. Now it is more individualized. Simply put, मैं मंदिर नहीं जाता, मैं घर में बैठ के पूजा करता हूं, अपने कमरे में बैठ के पूजा करता हूं. Yes or no? People pray in the privacy of their home. So religion, which was earlier a community affair, पहले लोग मंदिर जा के पूजा करते थे या चर्च जा के पूजा करते थे. अब वो चर्च नहीं जा रहे, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो रिलीजियस नहीं है, बट वो घर पे बैठ के पूजा कर रहे हैं. Are you with me? How many of you are this type that you don't visit places of worship frequently, but you do pray or consider yourself religious and connect with God in the privacy of your home? Quite a few of us. And others are tired, possibly. So, yes. So religion has become more of a private affair than a public spectacle. So simply fewer people in church is not a definitive proof of decline of religiosity. They say people are religious, even in modern society, but they are simply praying. Pray and worship has become individualized. ठीक? Also, नहीं ऐसे नहीं चलता. Talcott, Parsons. ये क्या कहता है कि मॉडर्न अमेरिकन सोसाइटी क्या नॉट रिलीजियस है? modern American society is a very religious society. Very religious society, modern America. In fact, Christian values are the foundation of modern American society. Christian values. Are the foundation of the American society. You know, what we generally consider or term as American values, they are really Christian values, derived from the teachings of the Holy Bible. In other words, Christian values have been generalized and they have taken over the form of American values. They have become, or they are now called as American values, but they are really Christian values. For example, in modern America, a lot of value is placed on human life. I don't know if you've noticed, उनका एक बंदा भी कहीं भी फंस जाए, they will वो पूरी जी तोड़ जान लगा देंगे उसको बचाने के लिए and save करने के लिए. Need not be a CEO or a high flying or a political big shot. Any American citizen, if stuck anywhere, caught anywhere, whatever, the whole apparatus, the machinery is galvanized to save that life. And this sanctity associated with human life, which characterizes the American value system, derives from Christianity. समझ रहे हैं आप? सो क्रिश्चियन वैल्यूज हैं जो अमेरिकन वैल्यूज के रूप में आज के दिन नजर आती हैं. Christian values have generalized or seeped into the soil of the American society. They have taken over the root of American values. Last 2 points. Okay? I thought you will say yay, but you said uff. इतना मरा हुआ ये नहीं करो तो अच्छा है. दौरखाइन. क्या कहता है दौरखाइन? Has religion vanished from modern society? फिर old sacreds have been replaced by a new set of sacreds. We've discussed this earlier. So religion, traditional or conventional forms of religion may have reduced in importance, but the old sacreds have been replaced by a new set of sacreds. But even in modern society, you have a distinction between sacred and profane. Even in modern society, religion, the modern forms of religion, or what we call civic religion, etc., they continue to provide a source of shared morality, bind the people, etc. Yes or no? Finally, friends, another criticism is that, when in this whole talk of secularization, we assume that the primitive or the pre-modern man was deeply religious. And without any substantial basis. Come to think of it, we have created this image of the pre-modern man in our minds, in our modern minds, that his life was preoccupied with religion. His life centered around religion. While religion occupies somewhat of a fringe, or one place, only one place in our life. Without any empirical basis for that. Are you with me? Simply, friends, critics suggest that such a picturization, or this assumption that the pre-modern man was deeply religious, may simply be a product of the imagination of the modern man. हम अज्यूम करते रहते हैं कि जो हमारे एंसेस्टर्स थे 300, 400, 500 साल पहले, उनका पूरा जीवन रिलीजन के अराउंड घूमता था. पूरे दिन वो मंजीरा बैठ के बजाते थे, भजन कीर्तन करते थे. हम लोग कामकाजी हैं. क्या पता वो भी लोग उनके लिए भी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी के लफड़े, काम काज, बच्चों की परवरिश एटसेट्रा वुड टेक सेंटर स्टेज, एंड परहैप्स रिलीजन वाज वन ऑफ द एलिमेंट्स इन देयर लाइव्स एज वेल. आर यू विद मी? बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद. थैंक यू.